Hey, good morning. Timmy here with you. I guess it's good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this video. My daily thought or relationship tip, even though this is just, I guess this could be partially relationship tip, but also maybe just a life tip, a life hack, if you will. Living a life with no regrets. Now, clearly, everyone on planet Earth has done things, said things, or not done things that they wish they had done, or did things that they wish they hadn't done, or said things they wish they hadn't have said, or things they wish they had have said. I think that's just life as a human. But when I think about regrets, I just am not a big believer in regrets. And and here's why, and here's my just thought. Feel free to disagree, of course, on this. I don't find living with regret a helpful thing. Now, living with learning from your past, I did this thing, I wish I hadn't. What can I learn from that situation? And then move forward, making better choices. I'm fully on board to learn from our past mistakes, to learn from those things that we've fell short on or didn't live up to or whatever, all those things. I think it's very, very important that we recognize those things and we look at those things and then we learn from those things and then we improve. But when I think about regrets, I just don't find living with regrets as helpful, because what is regret going to get you? It doesn't get you anything other than make you feel bad. And again, I think sometimes when we think about other people, we hope that they recognize how they did something wrong, and we're like hopeful that they have regrets. And that's, I just don't resonate with that thought, because again, we can't change the past. The past is the past. It's gone. There's nothing we can do about it. We can't change it. All we can do is adjust ourselves in the present, which then will, of course, hopefully, right, adjust our future. But we can't go back into the past and right the wrongs. Now, what we can do, again, is learn from them. We can learn from our mistakes. We can right the wrongs in the sense of asking whoever we may have hurt to forgive us, to apologize, to say we're sorry. All those things are absolutely critically important, I think, in the human journey. Being able to recognize when we've done something wrong and we've fallen short in some way, we've hurt someone, inadvertently hurting ourselves, hurting those close to us. I think it's critically important that we right those wrongs in that sense. You can't change the past. Clearly, it's done and gone. It doesn't even exist anymore, right? The collateral damage may exist, but I've met many people and worked with many people that just live with so much regret, and I've never found that regret to be a motivator or helpful in having a better future. So that's how I'm coming at this. When I think of regret, it's just like wallowing in, I wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda. And that's just not helpful. But to look into our past and see things that we've done, things that we've said that we wish we hadn't have said and done, then how we would pull that into the future is, okay, what did I learn from that? What am I taking away from this? How can I be better and different in the future? That's where I think it's important. So I guess my tip or my challenge would be, are you living right now with regrets? And if so, I encourage you to get a journal and sit down and what is it that you regret? Okay, what is it that you regret? Now, obviously, there might be a regret that you have that is heavy, right? It's some kind of a heavy regret. But again, regardless of how heavy, how big, or how even small that regret might be, and how that might be not even at all able to be fixed, meaning you did what you did and it's brought about a different future and maybe not a pleasant future, and it was stems from this deal. Well, the only thing you can do, right? Because that's done. It's done. You cannot change the past. You can only change yourself now, which will then impact your future. So the only thing that I would recommend would be to turn into that regret, write down the names of those that maybe you hurt or you wronged, and free yourself from that in an emotional way. Like, just allow that to flutter away. But if you can, without disrupting and causing a bunch of issues, if you can go back to the person you've hurt, if you can go back to them and apologize and say you're sorry, great. If it's this is a practice that I did one time with a group of people. We took a bunch of helium balloons and we wrote the things that we wish we would have done different or whatever, or the burdens that we carry, and we let them go. Let them go. I know that's littering technically, but anyway, it's what we did, and it was a really helpful practice to help everyone let those things go, because again, the past it's gone. It doesn't even exist. You can't change whatever was done or said, and you just can't. But what you can do is let that be your teacher. Let that be the thing that motivates you to be better today. Last and final thought. I had someone say this to me not too long ago. They said, just make sure, in talking about the things that I do today, how to live in such a way to not have regrets. So we talked about regrets. Now I want to just shift over real quick and quickly talk about living a life of no regrets. That just takes forethought. If I am doing certain things now that I know will produce regrets later, I should look into that, right? Like, how am I living today that could cause regrets later? I don't mean accidental regrets. I'm not talking about we accidentally do things that cause some kind of a regret. But more than that, I'm talking about living our lives in such a way that we won't have regrets. Does that make sense? Spending time with family, spending time with friends. A great book I read called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. It's a phenomenal book written by a hospice nurse, and she talked about the top 5 regrets that the elderly before they died always brought up. And one was, they regretted working too much, they regretted not developing their friendships more, they regretted not being more open and vulnerable, and I forget the other 2. I'd have to think about it. But there are these 5 regrets. You can Google it, top 5 regrets of the dying. It's great, and you can get the Cliff Notes, which will give you the whole book. It really was I read this book years ago, and it really helped me to grasp, how can I live today so that I limit the regrets in the future, right? Like, I don't want to work myself to the bone and not spend time with family. I don't want to miss out on my kids' activities. I don't want to miss out on big events. I want to make sure that I'm present. I don't want to do things now that will create the potential for regret later. And that just takes forethought. You just got to think about it. You got to think about, hey, should I go spend time with family during Christmas? I would say yes, especially because at some point family will pass away. Our grandparents and our parents pass away, right? We want to make sure that we don't regret that we didn't do certain things. Okay, the balance to that, and then I'm done. The balance to that is that you don't live in such a way where you're just living for other people. It's about our lives, and it's important. Yes, we do serve other people, love other people, give to other people, of course. But you can't live to the point where you just sacrifice your wants, desires in your life so other people are happy. For example, it would be unhealthy to give in to someone's needs or desires when it will disrupt your life and cause issues in your life, rather than living a life of balance and keeping in mind, if I do this, will I regret this later? If I don't do this, will this create a regret later? So move past your regrets, move past anything that's in your past, and then now, from this day forward, live life as much as possible. Live a life that will not create regrets. All right, guys, peace.